Welcome back to another episode of Vegas Views. Dawn Sullivan, Danny Miner. How are you guys? Hey, Danny, how are you?
We're back?
We
didn't get canceled?
No.
Oh, my gosh. I when I walked in today, I was waiting for me to be escorted out of security here. Oh, Miner's here. Let's escort him out of the building.
Yeah, me too.
It's been a good week.
Yeah, did you see that little clip our producer said just with me saying about the Trump thing? And
yeah. I was called the lunatic.
I know. Did you see? I wrote back to him, though. I did. I had your back. I defended you. He did call you a lunatic.
He called me a lunatic.
That's not nice.
Why would he call me a lunatic? I don't get it. I don't get it. Why would somebody call me a lunatic? I'm
you are just stating how you feel. I don't understand for any way, shape, or form why anyone will call you a lunatic. So much stuff today. Okay, so I heard on the news this morning. I don't like this. There was a domestic violence murder in Piccoli Ranch. Do you know where Piccoli Ranch is? The area, it's like, you know where Charleston is?
Yeah.
And almost Hualapai area?
Oh, I know where that's at.
There's a little town there. It's called, not like a town, but it's like a little place, and it's called Piccoli Ranch. It's pretty. They have a park and all this stuff, a pool and all that, and then a bunch of homes and then a complex in there and all this stuff. So in Piccoli Ranch, I don't know the details, but I believe it was a man shot and killed his wife right in Piccoli Ranch early this morning. Domestic violence.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I wanted to, real quick this morning, if we could, just tap into that really quickly. And I know in your past, being an officer and everything, you probably went to a lot of those scenes. You told me some of the stories. Real quick, guys, I just wanted to tell our studio audience, if you are in a relationship, well, let me start by saying, a lot of the stuff that Danny and I say, 90% of it is all true. There's that 10% where we mess around and then we joke on people and this and that, but this is a serious matter. If you're in a relationship that is not serving you, what I mean by that is if someone is not being nice to you, treating with you respect, with honor, now nothing is perfect in this world, but love, and you're feeling as if you might be abused at all, it probably is abuse. Would you agree with that? If you're feeling abused, abuse. Let me just tell you what's not normal. It's not normal for a man or a woman to tell their significant other, whether that be man, woman, bi, trans, gay, whatever that looks like, that they're not worth anything. Curse words are just inappropriate, not okay. I hear it all the time. I'll be in Target, less likely in Target than in Walmart. Not knock in Walmart, I'm just saying. But let's say we're in Walmart. And you hear, get the F over here. And that's at a child or a woman. And I'm taken back. These people think that's normal. It's not normal. None of it's normal. If someone is not treating you properly, they are not normal. In our society right now, I think there's a lot of people that think, guys are cool for beating up on their girls or I got a tough guy. He runs the streets. No, that's... For a woman, that is you not having a healthy enough self-esteem, unfortunately, to get out of that situation. And you're not knocked for that on our show. So just so you know, we will put up the domestic violence hotline for you guys. If you're going through anything, remember one thing. If someone's stealing your peace, it's not worth it. So if you're scared to reach out, you can get in touch with myself. You can get in touch with Danny, DM, either one of us. We'll try to help you out. Like I said, we'll leave the domestic violence hotline. If someone's not even just hitting you at home, if someone's telling you and your children you're no good, or a woman is badgering you, whatever it is, because this happens to men as well, please contact. Don't stay in situations like that. Like I said, you're not put on this earth for anyone to steal your peace. Okay, I just had to put that out there because there's so much domestic violence right now. There's so much. This whole week, I felt like every time I turned around, there was something on the radio or something on news or something like this woman, this man, and it's all over the place. And then I see children and just being out shopping, I guess, too, Christmas time, I'm watching just the way people interact and speak to each other. And I would never, I would never speak to someone that I claim to care for in that manner, in that light, especially not now in my life. Maybe in the past I may have,
maybe yelled at somebody. But no, you were right. And I just want to say, being a cop 27 years, the holiday season's always the worst.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've went to domestic violence calls on Christmas Eve. I've been to domestic violence calls on Christmas Day. And the biggest thing around the holidays is suicide.
Yeah.
I mean, Dawn, I can almost guarantee you we would know that we were going to have suicides because of the holidays.
That is
we would
so
know
unfortunate.
Yeah. I had a guy around Christmas time. He actually, in the middle of the daytime, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he killed himself right downtown, shot himself in his car in front of everybody downtown.
What does that look like for you? So they dispatch it in, right? There's whatever the codes are, or whatever to go down there. Are you, if the paramedics aren't there and everything, are you the first person there to view that?
Of course, yeah. And then you have to, you check to see if he's alive, okay? And then, of course, obviously he was not alive. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And then you just gotta cordon off the scene. And what you do is you'll have, when one of the EMT guys get there, they have to go and they'll check his pulse. You let one in because you don't want to contaminate that scene. Even though he shot himself, you don't know.
It's
you
still
got to investigate.
Right,
and then you let the coroner comes in. The coroner is the only person that could pronounce somebody dead. Okay? And the coroner, here's the other thing people don't know. The coroner's the guy that decides if the death is suspicious, not the cops. It's all in the coroner.
I do know that. That's a little bit crooked, huh?
Yeah, people don't get that. People don't understand that. The coroner's the guy that makes the call. He's the guy that says this is a suspicious death, this is a homicide. The cops do not do that. It's all on the coroner. If he says it's natural, it's done.
Would you say a lot of the time they are, like, it works with what you guys thought? So if you get on scene and you're like, oh, that's a homicide, or that's a suicide, or that's whatever, a lot of the time, are they saying what you believe, or is it different?
99% of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, 99% of the time. Sometimes you look at a scene, you think, it could be suspicious. If you start thinking every scene could be suspicious, even because we go to all natural deaths too. You know what I mean? So everything always
and
looks
can you tell our studio what is an all natural death? What does that look like? That's if someone dies at home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, the hardest call to get is when somebody calls you and says, hey, my neighbor's papers, when they used to get newspapers. Remember when people used to get newspapers on, there's 5 newspapers in front of their house. You know what's going on. You know what I mean? Or they didn't get their mail or something like that.
So you're walking into that.
Yeah.
What do you do? Break the door down?
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. One day, it was a Sunday afternoon. I just get there. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. A lady walks into the police station. She sees me. She goes, hey, I kind of need your help. She goes, I live in Virginia. I drove up here because my mom wasn't answering the phone. I wanted to make sure she was okay. She goes, I went to her house. The newspapers are on the thing, and her mail is coming out of the thing. I'm like, so I said, okay, I'll go down there with you. So I said, I'm going to break in. So
I got to be honest. Did you think, all right, she's probably not vacuuming?
No, I knew she was. Okay. Yeah, I knew she was gone. So I break through the window. I smashed the window. As soon as I got in the house, her mom was dead.
You know what I mean?
Her mom's like, I could smell it, but her mom was just, she was done. She was laying there on the ground. So I look, and of course I opened the door and I said, listen. And, I grabbed her. I said, your mom has passed. As soon as I opened the door, I told her because I didn't want her to see that.
Yeah.
And she goes, I still want to see her. I'm like, okay. So she goes in there to see her, and of course, she starts saying, could you do anything for her? And I knew you couldn't do anything for her. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But
she was like dead?
Dead.
Yeah, gone.
And I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. I said, your mom's passed a long time ago. I mean, because you could see that she's passed. Yeah. It's obvious. But, I dealt with that all the time. All the time. Probably maybe 4 or 5 times a week sometimes. You don't know. You don't know what people die. We go to natural causes all the time. So
natural causes if someone dies at home or they slip and falls, things like that. So you'd be able to determine. Right. So what about the cases like we were discussing before, like domestic violence? Have you had one where like, okay, this man or this woman just killed this person?
Yeah, I had a lady stab a guy in the face that was beating her, and he deserved this. I get called to this scene the one time, and this lady is like, she has a knife in her hand. I tell her to drop it. She drops. I go to her. I swear, Don. The only reason I'm laughing is because this guy deserved it.
Yeah.
This guy deserved it. She hit him. She must have stabbed him like this, and it went through this part of his nose and came out this side of his nose. I'm not laughing. This guy deserved it. Believe me, that's the reason I'm laughing.
See, that's funny. We're allowed to laugh at that. When someone strikes back to a domestic abuse partner,
she was
another.
And we used to go to this house all the time for domestics. So we knew this lady was being abused.
With that being said, okay, so did you ever say to her or him who was being abused? She was being
abused.
So did you ever say to her maybe this isn't the environment for you? You deserve better. Maybe you should get. What do they say? 9
times out of 10, they're going to say they're going to leave. But then 2 days later, they're back with them. They drop the charges. It's hard to prosecute somebody without a victim. That's the biggest thing in domestic violence. I don't even know. I had a guy set a lady on fire once. And the lady refused to testify against him. And I physically had to beat this guy up. Off duty. Did I ever tell you that story?
Guys, okay. So I have been trying. I made this my goal in 2024. It's happening early. So I wanted to from 2023. I wanted to hear Danny's stories of him beating people up on the side, and I got one. So what happened?
I was justified before all you liberals start calling the White House. Get the FBI to investigate Danny. The liberals are out there. They're hearing that. Nah, this is what happened. I went to my parents' house. This is the truth. Okay. I'm off duty. I just was at the gym. Okay. I was a cop maybe about 5-6 years at the time. Just got back from the gym, so I had shorts on, I had a t-shirt on. I go in there, and I think my mom was making me spaghetti and meatballs, whatever the heck was going on, right? So my mom, I go up to the bathroom in my parents' house. I hear my mom say to my dad, I'm going to run out to the car. I left something in the car that I need for the food that we're making. I'm like, all right. So I hear my mom go out there, and then as I'm coming back down the steps, my mom comes in and goes, she's screaming. Now, my mom's dramatic.
Yeah.
She's like me, just a female version.
Yeah.
She comes in there. She'll make any story sound the best story in the world, right? So she walks into my house and she's screaming, there's somebody killing somebody in the alley. And I'm like, what? So I come down. Now, I'm not in uniform. I'm out of my jurisdiction. I'm not even in my jurisdiction.
No gun, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
I come down. My mom's like, somebody's killing somebody in the alley. So I go out. I look, and there's this, and it's daytime. There's this big dude, big long hair, and he's beating this girl. And he throws her. My parents have bushes. He throws her over the bushes into my parents' yard, and then walks through the bushes and is in my parents' yard. Now, I want to tell you guys, at that time, I'm benching about 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm 20-something, so my temper's bad.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're like on fire. Yeah.
I'm thinking this is great.
Yeah.
So I walk, because I know this guy can't beat me up. I know it. Okay? I'm benching 400 pounds. There's no way he's beating me up. I come down the steps, and I pull my badge out. And I said to him, I did have my badge on me. Yeah. And I said, I'm an off-duty cop. I said, get out of here. I grabbed the girl, and I told my mom, I said, put her in the house.
Yeah.
So my mom gets the girl, puts her in her house. I said, get going. And he looks at me, and I'll keep it clean, because I know we curse a lot, and we shouldn't be. You know? He looks at me, he goes, you can take that effing badge and stick it up your ass, he says to me. That's what he says to me.
So he wasn't behaving.
No, he says that right to me, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, I kind of grabbed him like this, right? And I twisted so I knew he couldn't get away from me. And I kind of just took him to the ground, and I kind of held him there till the cops got there.
See how he's going to tell like this epic story, and then I held him. Bullshit! You didn't know. I know, Danny. You were like, I'm probably kicking. You want to hit a woman? I can imagine. This is not all in my head. One day I'm going to get all these true stories out of you.
I'll be honest with you.
You were talking to him. Don't lie. You were like, were you talking to him?
I whispered in his ear.
Yeah.
And I told him.
Nicely, right?
Because I knew that he could come back to my parents' house at a future time. I knew that.
Awesome.
So I whispered into his ear. I said, if you ever come on my parents' property or go near their house, I'm going to effing kill you. Yeah. I told him. So I warned him.
He never came back.
No. I told him I'd kill him, though.
So this is the same one, and after that, you had gone again for domestic with these people, or no?
Well, what happened, I forgot that this guy to beat up this girl that I had to get intervene, I forgot to tell you, he threw lighter fluid on her and set her on fire.
This is the same one that
This is the guy that I had to threaten to go near my parents. He set her on fire. Her hair was all singed when I took her to going in the house. He beat her and set her on fire. And we went to court, and she refused to come to court. The only charges I had against him was with me and going to my parents' yard.
Can I tell you
because she
something?
refused to testify against
in my psychologically, they say it's, I think, 60 to 70% of women drop charges if it's domestic where they're dating. If it's like a family member, they don't. But if they're dating, it's 60 to 71% of women will drop charges on to actually incarcerate, so they won't incarcerate them, and order protections. So they go and get an order of protection, and they drop an order of protection.
Oh yeah, all the time. Mm-hmm. It happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And
I've done that. Oh, I just said that. I have done that.
You've had a protection from
I've had a protection order against somebody, and I dropped it.
Listen, I don't look down upon women for doing that. They love the person. This is just, it's hard. You got to realize it's so hard, and people do look down upon women for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll be like, I can't believe her. She deserves what she. No, she doesn't. She's scared, and a lot of times. I hate to say this, but a lot of times financially the woman's dependent on the guy. They're all dependent on. So how do they leave? They have kids. They have this. It's hard for them to leave financially. And people get mad at women, but where do they go?
Financially is probably the biggest one. I love that you point that out.
Yes.
It is probably the biggest one. But truthfully, most women are kept in that environment because they're on a psychological hold. They can figure out if they have no money. There are shelters out there to go to. There are family friends to go to. They are so manipulated by most of these abusers that they just don't leave.
It's horrible.
And if they leave, they keep coming back and coming back. They say it takes a woman 7 times to actually leave an abuser before she's gone for good. 7 times. So guys, if you know someone in a situation like that, don't look at your friend or your sister or your cousin or someone and say, oh, why are you still with that guy? Or why are you still with that girl? There's a reason, okay, that something maybe you haven't gone through that you can't understand why they're still with that person. I'm going to reiterate again, if someone's not bringing you peace, they should not be in your life. Don't lower your standards. And also, guys, be supportive of people that may be in a bad situation. Maybe you can help them get out of it by being understanding that you don't know what they're going through. But yes, it is huge. So yeah, money, of course, because how are these women supposed to take care of themselves and their children, or vice versa for a man?
Right.
But the biggest thing is that we call it in the psychological game a headlock. They're in a headlock.
Right.
They're manipulated to believe that they're nothing, they're less than, what are they going to do without this man? This man is great. I mean,
Yeah. But I mean, we all had it in our families too. God, I hate talking about it, but my sister she went through a domestic violence incident. She had a protection from abuse order on him. He beat her. He did this. The guy was he was one of these guys that was rich, one of these rich assholes. I'm going to be honest with you. And she goes with them.
And there's
and
a lot
married.
of those, a lot of rich assholes. Yeah. But a lot of poor ones too.
This guy wasn't like what you would think. Okay, this guy had money.
Yeah.
He had, he had a lot. Okay, and yet he beat my sister, and the end of it all, he got another girl pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
Did
insane.
she finally get away?
Yeah, she got away from him.
Thank goodness. That was heaven sent that he got someone else pregnant.
This guy was such an arrogant. I don't want to tell you. I might have hit him too.
Was it like at the police station, or were we going to get to a good fight?
No.
Did you hit him too?
Yeah.
Good for you. So wait a second.
And my dad did too. My dad.
You and your dad hit
My dad punched this guy probably about 5 times.
That.
My dad was probably 60-some years old when he hit him.
Is this the sister, the one that we were talking about last week that's like very just straight edge? And
Oh, both my sisters are they're twins.
Yeah.
I have twin sisters.
Yeah. And they're both straight edge. And
Oh, yeah, they're nothing like me.
She must love you and dad. You literally hit this dude for her?
My dad, he came, they were getting a divorce. Christmas Eve, he came to our house, and my other brother-in-law that's married to my other sister, he smashed all his car windows while everybody was eating Christmas
You're
dinner.
kidding me.
No. And then he took my sister's clothes and threw it all over the street in front of our house.
Oh.
My dad went out there. My dad was in his 60s, and my dad beat this guy up. And you know what? My dad was so proud of himself. Like my dad had to tell me the story when I came home. He goes, he was hitting me. I didn't even faze me. I just kept hitting him back. My 60-year-old dad got in a fist
That's
fight.
his daughter.
Yeah.
That's his little girl. Yeah.
I would say my dad's probably in his 60s when this happened. And then me and this guy was always an asshole. He did something to my sister one night. We're at a party, and I might have had a glass in my hand. I might have punched him in the head with the glass.
Yeah. Did you cut him up?
No, I didn't cut him up. His dog attacked me, bit me about 5 times. Me and him got in a fight. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, but you were okay and the dog was okay?
Yeah, the dog was okay. I was okay. I probably should have never been a cop. But hey, what are you gonna do?
I know, because sometimes it's like they don't add up, Danny. They don't add up. But seriously, this is no joke. What's going on? Just not even in this country. It's everywhere with domestic violence. I feel like we're allowed to talk to any people any way we want. Even sometimes, like with my clients, I have to reel them in and check them. Like, obviously, I know that what's going on before it even happens, but I'll get like a manipulating text.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, huh, okay. Like you can't, but people do that. They go ahead and treat people however they want. The scariest thing too nowadays is the way that, I'm going to have a bunch of people after me again. All right. The way we're raising our kids. Be a good dad. If you're a good dad, especially to a daughter, she is going to go ahead and date good guys. 90% of women that are in bad relationships, and I'm not knocking the women, I'm not knocking the men that are abusing, I'm not knocking anyone at this point. What I am saying is 90% of the women that are in these bad relationships, it's because they were missing something when they got in. So if they didn't have the proper guidance from their father, if they just had a hole in them for whatever reason, insecurity, self-doubt, whatever it is that draws those type of abusers to somebody more weak than them at the time, this tends to happen. So if you treat your little girls and little boys good, teach little boys to respect little girls. Don't teach little girls it's okay, this boy is kicking you because he likes you. Don't teach little girls that anymore.
That's true.
I grew up with that.
That's true.
I grew up with 3rd grade. He's hitting you and stabbing you with a pencil because he's flirting with you.
I know.
Really? Because if you're stabbing at me with a pencil today, I'm going to freaking put it through your nose. That's my new thing.
Put it through
your nose. Yes. No, seriously. So really, the times have changed, but it's so important the way we treat little kids and how they view themselves too. So especially, guys, if you're a dad and you have a little girl, please, and don't think I'm crazy, take her on dates. Love her. Bring her flowers like you would your wife or your fiance or your girlfriend or baby mama, whatever it is, okay? Give them a sense of who they are, and then they'll grow up to understand that they should be respected, loved, and honored. And if the world can all just do this, we'd be okay. Your upbringing will only take you so far. You have to keep raising yourself, and then raising your standards, and then raising your children. So however you were raised, that's one thing, because a lot of this is generational. But really, start being kind to people. Surround yourself with people that are good, healthy people that don't disturb your peace. Anybody else, they're not for you. They're not worth you. Not at all.
Agree.
I'm adamant about this week.
Look at this.
I am.
We actually did something that might help people instead of just making fun of everybody.
You know what? I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I'm in the mirror and I'm like doing my lashes or whatever, and I thought to myself,
we're not making fun out of people
you
today.
and I didn't think that. But I thought to
You
myself,
picked on the handicapped people last week. Oh, that was
you.
me.
That was
me.
you.
Yeah.
No, but I kind of played into that one a little bit too. No, but I was thinking to myself, like, you and I are truly compassionate people. When we met each other, it was about helping people, and it is about, just us putting, what we can do out for people from a psychological standpoint, from a criminal standpoint, to help. And we find ourselves chit-chatting, which is amazing, which I love, and we're entertaining and stuff. But yeah, I need to stop being so judgy sometimes, and I've got to look at it, because I'm thinking about, we're ripping everyone apart. No one's going to feel safe coming to us.
No, they're going to be
They're
like,
gonna be like,
oh,
"Oh
I
my
should have
God."
going to make fun out of me.
Yeah, oh my God, I'm in a domestic violence abusive situation, and Danny's going to be like, come here, black-eyed chick. That's what they
Eat myself
think of
into
us.
a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you
Now
what.
this is it. Now if they're obese and in a domestic violence situation, they're not coming anywhere near us. Because they're going to be like, did they hear us?
My one friend said when he heard me say that online, he was eating his spit on his
Oh yeah, I use it all week.
He said, oh my God.
I use that shit all that whole week. I'm like, you better be careful eating that right into a wheelchair.
But listen, I was close, Don. I mean, we laugh about that. I was close. I mean, I know you guys see me now and I don't look that fat, but I was fat.
Yeah.
I was close to eat myself into a wheelchair. I'm not kidding you. I really was.
See, what's kind of cool though? You don't really have many addictions. It doesn't seem you have many. Maybe that was like an addiction for you. Maybe you were
Food was an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Food
so
was
maybe
an
you were
addiction.
eating your way
Oh my God.
out of your feelings into the wheelchair.
You know what it is though? When you're I worked night shift for 10 years.
Yeah.
Now, especially after like 2 o'clock in the morning, things, especially on a weekday, it's boring from 2 to 8. Really, if you get a call between there, it's usually a real bad call. You don't get a lot of calls at 3 o'clock in the morning, but if you do, it's a bad call. So what you do to pass the time is you eat.
So
And that's how I got
Donuts
fat.
is like true. Like
Yes.
on the East,
Yes.
you can go to any Dunkin' Donuts in New York City, anywhere in all the boroughs, and there's a cop.
Listen,
Always.
They took a picture of me. Listen, I went to a convenience store and I bought a custard pie, and I was eating the whole pie at my desk. Like I had the pie and was eating it. They took my picture, blew it up, put it on the wall. I wonder why I'm so fat. They put it on the wall of the police station, me eating this pie.
Do you
I swear to God.
want to hear my inner dialogue?
Go ahead.
I just said, what a fat fuck. I swear. I was so judgy. I don't know why, but it's Dan.
Why are we picking on fat people on this show?
No, that's not cool though. No, we all have our,
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Listen, I'm all tough. I've been in the gym for 2 weeks.
I saw ya!
In the morning, so now all of a sudden I can make fun of fat people, which I don't make fun of fat people at all. It's not cool. Sometimes I'm like, we don't know though. There's story. There's thyroid issues.
Oh, I know.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you love.
And if you can't walk,
Yes,
you can't exercise,
absolutely.
so you're going to gain weight.
you're gonna gain weight.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's where I feel like, that's super, super sad.
Yes.
They have no control.
No,
over
there's
it.
nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You get crippled, you get this. How are you going to, you can't exercise, so you're going to gain weight.
No, that's
I don't care
sad.
what you're eating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's sad.
But I just want to tell you guys, I did make fun and I joked, but Believe me, I tended to wait my whole life. Tended to wait.
Yeah.
My whole life, I
feel
struggled
like
with
this
it.
is almost like a half-ass apology.
It is.
This whole show is like we're trying to fucking redeem ourselves. Like we were so. I called women.
My girlfriend yelled at me for doing
Did
that.
she?
Yes, she yelled at me for making fun out of people.
Oh man!
I got yelled at.
Yelled at.
I got yelled at.
Oh, man.
She told me that was wrong. She told me so.
Yeah.
All right, this is what I'm gonna say. I struggled my whole life with it, and one thing I learned, and this I kept it off now 6-7 years. It's walking. It's so.
Yeah.
It's just walking. And
Yeah.
if you look at a lot of these exercise guys on TikTok, I follow them. They say the number one thing to do is walk. That's it. Just get out there and walk.
So
Some
your
people won't
public
do it.
service announcement
Is
to
walk.
everybody obese is walk it off.
That's it, and you
Walk
will
it
lose
off.
weight.
Yeah.
Believe me when I tell you, you will lose weight. I didn't think so either. I just got off my ass and started walking.
Yeah.
And what I did was, the minute I woke up, I got my coffee, I threw my hat on, just threw my, and went right out the door.
Yeah.
And I just did it every single day when I woke up. And you'll start getting into a rhythm. It's starting a habit, you'll lose weight.
And one more thing, I know we've discussed this on the show a couple of times. Women with walking. I don't know about most women, but for myself, I live in a good neighborhood, but still, I feel weird putting my buds in and just starting to walk. Please tell us again. You've said this to me once before.
You should never walk with them headphones on.
I wasn't looking for that, Danny.
Okay.
I was looking for you to tell me that Boogeyman's not going to jump out of
Oh.
Now he's scaring. Okay, don't ever walk with these in. Then
Yeah.
the walk is boring.
Listen. 99% of the murders, you know the person who killed you.
Yes, that's what I wanted you to hear.
Yes, 99%. There is that 1% serial killers out there.
Yeah.
But honestly, that it's usually you know the person that killed you. That's why when the cops come to a murder scene, they're looking at husbands, wives, any relative. I'm telling you, 99% of the time.
You know, normally in the psychological world, we know it's either an ex-boyfriend, ex-fiance, or ex-husband that always has something to do with it. But there's a lot of hit hires too.
Oh, yeah.
From them, and it boils back to them too.
But you know, I watch Dateline, and I know the ending every time.
Oh,
I know the end, but we still watch it. I know the
before it
ending every
even
time.
starts, the minute it's like, here's Cassandra. She's a lovely student, blah, blah. She's so beautiful.
And then they show her
there's
husband.
No, wait, there's the husband, and then there's like, there may have been so and so and so and so. I'm knocking that boyfriend out. Those emotions aren't even there. That's that damn husband. She said, I do. He's killing her. That's
Listen,
it.
I know we got to take a break. I totally forgot about it.
Shit.
But one last thing. My girlfriend always says this, and I think I told you guys this before. Women have to marry their natural predator.
That is so scary to me.
My girlfriend always
Said that to
says
me.
that.
I love that, guys. Listen to this again. We have to marry our natural predator. So the most likely person to kill us. These are the
We
people
have to
that we're
marry
saying
them.
I do too.
Yes. Could you imagine that?
Hell no. That's
Honestly,
scary.
it's true though.
That's
And when she
scary.
said that to me, I'm like, oh my God, it's true.
It is so scary.
I know.
Yeah.
And then I tell her, I said, what do you mean? I walk you to your car. I walk you here.
Yeah.
I protect you. She goes to me, you protect me from other males.
Yeah.
You protect
Absolutely.
me. You have to walk me to my car to protect me from other males.
Yeah. That's insane.
It really is.
That is really insane. And that has a lot to do, again, what I'm talking about. If we all start acting right. But you know what it is? There's so much generational curse. There's so much generational where it's okay. My uncle so-and-so killed so-and-so wife, and this one killed that one, and this one, that, and that it just happens. And it's okay with people to take other lives. That's not okay. Unless you're protecting your own, then go for it.
Can we talk about UFOs when we come back?
Yeah. He doesn't like domestic violence. He's over it. Guys, we'll be right back. We're going to take a 2-minute break. Please tune back in. We're going to be talking about UFOs. I have breaking news for UFOs.
Get ready.
I believe.
Oh no!
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborate with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, social media shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
Welcome back, Vegas Views. Dawn Sullivan, Danny Miner. Real quick. So, Danny, I wanted to get into something we were just talking about on commercial break.
The UFOs, but
But one thing, UFOs, I believe, but let's get into this real quick. So we were talking on commercial break, and Danny had mentioned that he had been to court a couple of times as an officer. Can you tell me that experience?
Court. Listen, first of all, every time you go to court, you're nervous. Yeah, it's even me who I'm personable. I talk in front of 10,000 people. You're still nervous. Court is court. You know what I mean? You kind of get that little feeling in your stomach. But
I gotta stop you. You do not have a cop's mentality. Cops aren't nervous going to the court. You just sounded like a criminal.
No, honestly, you do.
You don't know if they're going to find on you.
Honestly, you do. If you know it's a big case and you feel like, honestly, I'm not kidding you, like say somebody was sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
Say somebody was murdered. You feel like, oh my God, if I don't testify right, this person could get off.
They could
like you feel the pressure. Yeah. Honest to God, Dan, you do feel the pressure when you get to court because it could be you that effed up the case. The guy gets off. So I always worried about that.
Yeah.
Especially when I had a victim. If it was a theft or, if somebody was injured, I always felt I didn't want to screw the case up for them.
So let me ask you, how does that work with a victim? So let's say you did have a sexual assault victim. Would it be like you finding the person there or you having the evidence? Like what would you go against? You'd go against the DA.
What do you mean?
Like when you went to court.
The DA was our attorney.
Yeah, and then what kind of questions would they ask you? Whatever you knew about the...
Oh, yeah. What happens is, a cop definitely tests. Cop's usually the first one to testify.
Right.
Because they put you on the stand and they want to establish the story. The first person there, how you got the call. So the cop is usually the first one on the stand.
Okay.
Or they'll put like the 911 operator on first.
Okay.
I got the call, I dispatched it. Especially in a murder case, you're going to go through everything.
Yeah.
Okay, the first thing I do is get that 911 tape as evidence. That's the first thing I do. Get the 911 tape and put it as evidence when they called in because you don't know what they're going to say. And I'll give you an example. You want to hear this?
Yes, please.
All right. We just had that tragedy here in Vegas where the 15 kids killed that kid.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Don, one of my videos is at 980,000, almost 1 million.
Yeah.
I probably had another video go to 250,000. If you see, my videos are getting out there. This was, if you don't know, and I'm sure you know, 15 kids after school beat up a kid and unalived him.
Yeah.
I
can say dead.
I can say dead on this area. Yeah. They murdered him. And they're all being charged now. And I had a similar case when I was a cop.
Yeah.
So this one, and I could get into court then and tell you how court testifies. What happened was I got called to one night. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. This lady calls me and says, hey, there was a fight outside my house, 2 kids. She said 20-some kids, 20-year-olds. She goes, and I took the one kid. He got a bumble on his head. He got a big bump on his head. I have him in my house, and I called the ambulance. And I'm like, all right, I'll be right down there. So I drive down to this house. I'm the first cop on scene. This kid's laying on the couch. He has this big bump on his head. When I'm trying to look around what it was, I would say like a softball. That's how big this bump was on his head.
Oh, wow.
Softball size.
Good.
But the kid was alert. He was talking to me. The ambulance takes him. Honestly, Dawn, I thought 2 kids fought,
Yeah.
You know, we do an investigation, probably charge the other guy with simple assault, and basically, let me tell you what happened. The one guy was bigger than the other guy. But the younger kid, the kid with the bumble, he started the whole thing. He starts hitting the bigger guy, the other guy hits him once, knocks him down, puts this bump on his head.
Yeah.
2 days later, he dies.
The kid with the bigger bump on his head.
Dies. Both good kids that just got into a fight. No criminal records on either of these kids. And now we are charging this kid with murder.
So a human tragedy.
Yes.
It's a
human tragedy. These kids, and Dawn, you ain't going to believe this. The guy I charged with murder, and this will tell you, I know sometimes you doubt me being a cop. You think I might have been this shady Italian cop. I'm not. I know that you're judging me there. But honestly, that kid that I charged with murder is my Facebook friend. I charged him with murder, testified against him, and he's my Facebook friend.
No way.
I have probably about 20 people I arrested that are my Facebook friends. I swear to
How
God.
does that happen? Did he go to jail?
No. Yeah, he did go to jail in the beginning, but then he gets off. Wait, I'm going to tell you what happened. He gets off. This guy gets off on this. I'm going to explain. What they did was he got one of the best defense attorneys in Northeast Pennsylvania. Okay? Cephalo Associates. That was their name. Italian guys, Cephalo Associates, right? So he gets them.
Not a paid partnership.
And this is when we're getting to me testifying. I get up on the stand, right? And the defense attorney goes to me, so Sergeant Minor, he's like, you said there was this big bump on his head. I said, yeah. He goes, and you said it was like softball size, right? I'm like, it was. It was a softball size bump. I was concerned for him. I'd never seen a bump that big. He's like, all right, so describe it to me. Softball, this, he's that, and I'm like, all right. And he goes to me, let me ask you another question. What color was the house that he was in? I'm thinking, oh, God, I don't know. I can't remember. I said, maybe white. He goes to me, okay. He said, what color was the carpet? I'm like, I don't know what color the carpet was.
I'm here to check out the
Right. He goes to me, what color was the couch? This attorney says to me. And I'm like, I don't know where this attorney's going. I said, I don't know what color the couch is. He goes to the jury and he says to the jury, I just want you to know, Sergeant Minor has selective memory. He can tell you that this big bump is on his head, but he doesn't know what color the couch is. He doesn't know anything else. But this was a big softball bump, Sergeant Minor said. That's what he said to me, this defense attorney, that I have selective memory. Okay? These attorneys would try to get me, but they couldn't. Honestly, they couldn't get me because I'm very quick with words. I'll debate anybody. It's my ADHD. You cannot get me. I don't care if you're the best. I don't care if you're F. Lee Bailey. I don't care if you're Johnny Cochran. You would not get me, understand? You just wouldn't. And the defense attorneys knew that.
Yeah.
They knew they couldn't get me. But anyway, long story short, how he gets off is they go to the defense. And what they said was, the hospital didn't treat him good enough. That's why he died. What happened was he went to the hospital at night. They released him. They sent him home. The hospital said he was okay and sent him home. 2 days later, he dies. He gets rushed back to the hospital. So their whole thing was the hospital made a mistake. Yes, he assaulted the kid. They mutually fought, but the hospital killed the kid. And the jury bought it, and he was found not guilty.
You know what? That's kind of sounds true.
Yes.
That kind of...
Yes.
Yeah.
The hospital sent him home, said he was okay. 2 days later, he dies. They said if they would have treated him for the head injury that he had, he would have lived. So it was the hospital that killed him.
So that's just a massive malpractice then?
Yes.
Wow. Very interesting.
And you got to realize this case was huge because you had two good kids.
Yeah.
One kid that died, the other kid that is being charged with murder that the community loved. This was two nice kids is what I'm saying.
Do you know how the parents of the deceased kid felt about the other kid?
Of course.
Did they look at it like they just
course.
got into a fight, or did they look at it like, no, this guy killed my kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
This divided the whole community. The whole community.
Yeah.
And I remember when I went to testify, it was just like you see on TV. Like when they called me to go in the courtroom, all the cameras were on me. You know what I mean? As I'm going in, they're all like all the news cameras were out there. It's probably one of the biggest cases I testified.
Can I ask if they were the same race?
Yeah, they were the same race. They're both white guys.
They're both white guys.
Yeah, both white guys. Yep. And it was tragic. And I think kids, and honestly, that scared me too. Because when you hit somebody, you
don't know.
You can kill them.
You don't know.
You could kill them. And I think that all the times when I was a kid and I got in fist fights and this and that, I was lucky.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I didn't get killed. I was lucky I didn't kill somebody else. When a 200 and some pound man punches another man in the face, you could kill him.
It's happened
It's
so
200
many
pounds.
times.
Yes.
And literally, you can hit him just one specific way. And some people are trained to do that. I work with a lot of fighters in my business.
Yes.
My models are fighters, and they can just kill somebody with one punch. That's
Yes.
it. Just take them out with one punch. And obviously, they know not to, and they know they don't fight on the street and stuff. But yeah, it's insane.
This is what it gets me mad. And I don't want to get into police brutality, but we're trained to win fights. We're not trained to fight fair. Cops are trained to win. So when you see a cop win, people get disturbed by it. But what do you want to do? You want the cop to get killed? We are trained to win fights.
Yeah.
We're not trained to fight fair. We're trained to win.
Yeah.
And I am trained. I think of everything like if you pulled a gun on me and was holding a gun right here to me, I'm trained to take that gun off you. I know how to take that gun off you. If there's a gun put right in the back, I'm trained. I could get that gun. Now, I'm older now, but I trained for this.
Yeah.
I mean, cops are trained for every single situation, but then when people see it done, they get offended by it.
That's another thing. Now, I know you are always defending what you believe in, whether it is the public or the officer. You are really honest, and that's really refreshing and nice that we actually have somebody that did your job for as long as you have, but you'll go against them when need be.
Right.
Nowadays, what you've been seeing in media, you feel sorry for these cops?
Yes.
Me too.
I think they can't do their job.
Yeah.
And I think that's why crime's out of control. I don't know if you guys saw. Oh, God, this is going to be very controversial. You know,
She's holding up a sign. Don't do it, guys. Not again. This was
Listen,
the apology.
I'm not
show.
afraid to talk about things, though. I don't care enough that the guy that died in Minneapolis, the cop. I mean, dude, they killed that guy in Minneapolis. Remember Shevlin or whatever his name?
Yeah.
Floyd, George Floyd.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He was just stabbed in prison. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
The cop was stabbed in federal prison.
I did not know that.
Now, there's a new documentary out about this Minneapolis, the downfall of Minneapolis, it's called.
You got to send this to me. This sounds good.
Okay. Everybody's tagging me in it. Everybody's sending it to me. Basically, what they're saying is that I don't know the exact facts, but the coroner in this incident, okay, the coroner in this incident, and don't get me wrong, that it was horrible. I'm not saying that the cops were wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what's going on here. The coroner in that incident, he's getting sued by like his secretary, I don't know, bookkeeper, whatever, somebody that works for him. There's a lawsuit. And in this lawsuit, the girl testifies under oath that the coroner does his report on George Floyd's body and says that he died of a drug overdose, but says he can't put that on the coroner report because there'll be riots and it'll be career ending for him. So he forged the document. Forged it. She testified in civil court in front of a judge that the coroner forged this report, this autopsy report. Now, I don't know if that's true. I know they said there was definitely fentanyl in his system. And the other thing is, in this documentary, all the Minneapolis cops are coming out and saying that the police chief lied in court, that they were taught to put their knee into it's a move they were taught to handcuff a guy.
Is that true? Were you ever taught that? I mean, like,
yes, put your knee in the guy's back and handcuff him, yes. But what, and here's the other thing we didn't know, but it's out in the documentary, and I'm just going by what people tagged me in. In the documentary, the reason it took 20 minutes and they had to hold him there, the ambulance went to the wrong place. There was confusion when they called the ambulance. That's why they're waiting for the ambulance. The ambulance went to the wrong location. It took the ambulance 20 minutes to get there. The ambulance, if they would have went right there, this wouldn't even have happened. The ambulance would have got there early. That was not allowed to be mentioned in court. They were not allowed to mention that they were taught to do that move on the guy. Like, there's a lot of things in this case. I think it's going to come to a head, honestly. And I think we're in for more trouble. Honestly, this documentary came out. They're saying this coroner forged the report. I mean, that's huge.
From what you just said, if it goes the other way now, what does that look like for us? What do you think that looks like
riots.
in the United States?
Yeah, riots.
Yeah.
Riots. And here's the thing. When that incident happened, I ripped them cops a new ass. I mean, it was horrible. The guy, I don't care if he was dying of a drug overdose. Get him off the ground.
Yeah.
Get him off the ground. You got to get somebody help, even if you're arresting them. What they did was totally wrong, and I'm not saying it's not. But if the coroner forged this report, you can't do that. Just because something looks bad doesn't mean it's a crime.
For the reason that you said. So if the coroner did forge the report, they're just doing it so we don't have
riots,
backlash, and riots from community.
Right. If
That's
he just
not
died
okay either. So also then, is hypothetically, not my opinion. Hypothetically, the person sitting in jail he shouldn't be in jail. He didn't kill somebody.
Right.
Fentanyl, maybe the fentanyl dealer.
They were saying fentanyl killed him.
Fentanyl killed him, or the ambulance that didn't get there on time.
Right, the ambulance. But what they should have done, and I'm going to be honest with you, what they should have done is we are taught as cops, get the suspect in the car and get out of there.
Yeah.
Honestly, because
so
everybody comes out like that.
Why wasn't that happening?
Because he was sick. They were calling the ambulance for him. He was calling for the ambulance, so they waited there at the ambulance instead of taking him right to the police station. They called an ambulance to treat him. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So he was sitting there waiting for the ambulance.
By his choice, he was waiting for the ambulance?
I think the cops would have waited for the ambulance. They're calling the ambulance for this dude. Because they should have got him out of there. I would have got him out of there.
Yeah.
Because just being there, you got to get him out of that area.
Yeah.
We were taught, get the suspect in the car when you're in a bad area and get him out of there.
Yeah. That's safer for you, for the suspect, for everyone involved.
But I think it's called the downfall of Minneapolis or something like that. But There's a documentary at least 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world is tagging me in this because it's basically saying that it was a lie. That's what they're saying.
That would be.
So,
I'm trying to just grasp what you're saying to me because I haven't heard of any of this yet.
and I'm not saying he shouldn't have been charged with something.
Right.
I mean, the guy was the cops were 100% wrong, public. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we can't forge reports so we don't have civil unrest in the country. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't have political prisoners. You can't do that in this country. You
But
got to go with the
it's
truth.
done every day.
Yes.
But this case in itself is just really, really wild. If that were to be the case, and that report's wrong, that would.
I mean,
the
lady
that was
could,
so big. They should have got.
She could be lying. The secretary could be lying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's not lying.
Do we know anything about her?
No.
Like, I don't have.
No, but there's some kind of lawsuit that brought this out.
Yeah.
Something against the coroners being sued. I don't remember what it is, but she testified under oath that he forged the report.
Yeah.
I mean, sooner or later, that's going to come out. I mean, and then there's other reports that the jury found them guilty because they were afraid of the civil unrest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's huge in itself. I believe in defamation of character. I believe that people will do what they have to do, especially when money's at play. But I always believe when there's a seed, there's some truth. There's some. So I think this, just my opinion from what you're telling me, from what you've heard, so third hand, fourth hand, fifth hand, she might not be telling the entire truth, but when there's a little seed, there's some truth to it.
And she's testifying in court. You're taking an oath. You can be arrested for perjury.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's under oath when she said this. And if the coroner did this, I mean, I'm sorry, we can't overlook things like that. And you just can't. I mean, you can't have political prisoners.
Yeah.
And that's scary to me.
Yeah.
That's third world country stuff. Sometimes what cops do does not look good, but they're right. And I hate to say that. Mm-hmm. In this case, they were wrong. They should have got him out of there. Absolutely. The guy was screaming for help. I'm not saying the cops were right. They were 100% wrong. 100% wrong. But if they didn't kill him, they shouldn't be charged with murder. That's all I'm saying, if that comes out.
I'm not blaming majority of our division in this country on that case.
Right.
But that was a massive, massive divide in our country. That entire case was that was just big. That was just huge. So to hear that this can be rewound and go in a different direction is almost insane at this point. Like, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you think about this, the first division in this country was the Michael Brown incident.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Hands up, don't shoot.
Yeah.
And we, that's the thing that the media goes with these things and they put this false. That never happened. That hands up, don't shoot, 100% false.
Yeah.
Never happened. But then the media said this and they got everybody fired up over it.
Right.
It never happened.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why when I talk to you about history books, we read these history books, how do we even know this shit's true? Because we're watching this unfold and we're seeing the lies.
Yeah.
And it just, that bothers me.
It's very difficult now with social media because there are people like you
that
see something quick, do the proper research on it, and put it out to the public. So people are like, shit, that Danny Minor got 1 million views or 2 million views or whatever it is. You're getting that out to a lot of people who happen to like you and like the news that you present. So they have to start telling the truth.
Yeah,
it's almost like that, or we can all live in a delusional world, which a lot of people are living in a delusional world. It's some stuff is here it is, it's black and white, it's right there for us, and people are still like, no, but that they said that happened or this happened.
I would take a break in this 2 minutes, but I just want to say again, Don, I'm the kind of guy that I want justice, but I want it to be fair. You know what I mean? If this coroner report says that he didn't do it, how could you charge somebody with murder when it says he died of a drug overdose?
Yeah.
What they did was wrong. They should still be charged. Maybe not charged with the murder.
Then again, there's always going to be that the drug overdose was induced.
Right.
If somebody is on fentanyl, methamphetamine, I think there was something else in his system too,
Yeah.
Quabarol, something like that. There was a couple of mental health drugs in his system too. So they had mental health drugs in his system, methamphetamine, and then fentanyl. Fentanyl and meth are 2 street drugs. The other ones were not street drugs. They were medicine he was supposed to be on. So he's laying on the floor he's not feeling well already, that knee making him not be able to breathe, no matter what. What if he died? We'll never know. What if he died if he was sitting up straight from a fentanyl overdose, or because he was laying there
You
with
don't
someone's
know.
knee on his neck did he die? Most likely he was not going to die sitting up straight on fentanyl. I mean, it happens every day, but from
I
what the
agree with
videos look like,
They should have brought him up. They should have sat him up. They
Yeah.
should have, and instead, and listen, when the public was screaming and yelling, "Let him up! Let him up!" The reason that went like that is because they were goofballs. The cops are goofballs for doing that. How do you not have any, like, the guy was screaming for his mother? How do you not help him? Like, it doesn't matter that he was dying of a drug overdose.
Yeah.
They should have helped
Yeah,
him.
I think
that's what I'm
that
saying.
was disgusting.
So that's
Yeah.
where they should be charged. They did not help this guy at all. They may have caused more damage. I'll give you
They
that.
did cause
right.
much
They caused
damage.
more damage.
Absolutely.
But I
Right.
also don't like people forging reports in court that do that in America.
Right.
You can't do that. We can't be other countries. We can't be third world countries. And that's why I personally don't like Trump being arrested. That's political crap. What are we going to do? Anybody that runs against us, we're going to have them arrested now? That's what third world countries do.
Absolutely.
When somebody's running against you, you put them in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't do that, folks. And that's why it's wrong what's going on with Trump. And I don't think he should have ever been arrested. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Me neither. I don't think Trump should have
I
ever
think
been
it's wrong for
arrested.
the country.
I don't think Trump should be arrested.
No.
I think they should investigate the George Floyd. Excuse me. I think domestic violence should stop, and I think no one should steal your peace. We'll be right back after this commercial.
I'm going to talk about UFOs.
UFOs, yeah.
John is an employee at one of the most famous firms in the city of New York. So his job is very hectic, and he realized that it is necessary for him to go and finally take a vacation. But he went on a vacation without planning out the details, and wasn't able to truly enjoy where he went because he had to think about so many things that he didn't plan for. Instead of enjoying his time away from work, he came back with more stress that he was not able to take full advantage of his vacation. But this year, a coworker suggested him to try World Ventures this time to make his vacationing more enjoyable and less stressful. They do not require you to plan anything outside of your transportation, which is also available at discounted rates. Your stay, your transport, and many meals are planned by the club. John liked the idea very much. He tries World Ventures, and his experience with the club was amazing, as he made many friends there with whom he had a great time. John recommends that everyone should try this club, as they are the best in business. See how the VIP-vacation-club.com can give you the right experience without all the hassle. Enjoy the VIP experience that only World Ventures provide.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. You know, if you're looking for prayer or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want. I'll get right back to you. So if you need prayer, you need help, you just need somebody to talk to, Modern Word Ministries is here for you. We are your church in the community. So until you see you next time, be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.
Vegas Views. Vegas Views, Don Solomon, and Danny Miner. Thank you.
I was going to do it, and then I
Thank
looked
you
at you.
for logging into the Apology Show. So
That's
today,
right.
Yeah, so today was the Apology Show.
But then we ruffled more feathers after
Yeah,
we
we ruffled more
apologized.
feathers, but we did kind of
talked about George
apologize.
Floyd, which everybody's going to hate us for that.
Yeah, but you know what? It's true, and what we said. And these are our opinions,
And we said the cops were wrong.
And the truth of the matter is that Danny and I both really do care about the community. We really do care about you guys. We care about our fans. I love the haters. I don't know who I like more.
My
the
God, I'm
haters or the
really
fans.
getting hated this week.
Me too.
My God, people are killing me this
I
week.
lost 1,000 followers on Instagram. I had a bunch of women that were like, you know, whatever. So my follower account went down, but I got so much great love with like people that are like, you know what, Dawn, I voted for Biden, but I can see your point. I get it. I understand. The women are feeling this. Women are feeling this, I think, more so than men. Biden in office was not a good thing for women across the board. Just saying.
Can we get? I promise you, we're going to get into UFOs. No more
UFOs,
serious.
let's do it.
Yeah.
No more serious.
No more serious. Let's end the show not being serious.
Okay, so
but I am
Danny-
serious.
So Danny suggested that I watch the show. What is the this movie? What was the name of it? The documentary.
Oh my gosh.
Moment of Contact?
Yeah, Moment of
Contact. I
Yeah.
watched it, and before that, Danny's been trying in all of 2023 to make me kind of believe the UFO, the alien thing, and I really was like on the fence, but I'll be honest, my fence was like 2% believing Danny, 98% this guy is nuts. I watched this guy, so if you can, go out and watch it.
Moment of Contact.
Moment of Contact. I believe. Seriously, I believe. I diagnosed in my head that guy up and down. I did so much research on just him. I believe that man. That
I
man
believe
is
it too.
not lying. That is his truth. And
What-
yeah,
I'll tell
Go for
them
it.
about it. Listen, I've been watching these things since I'm a little kid. But this one really, like I agree with Don. When you watch this documentary,
yeah,
this makes you really think it's true. Now, all this stuff the government's telling us, and then after you know all of what the government's telling us, and then you watch this documentary, you're hearing about 1947, New Mexico, Roswell.
yeah,
This one was recent.
yeah,
This was 1996
yeah,
in Brazil.
yep.
They see this craft, something flying out of the sky, it crashes, and it was witnessed by this man.
I gotta stop you real quick because half of our audience is like 96. I wasn't even born yet.
For me, that's
To me, like 96 was like, yeah, back in 96. Like I remember my favorite song and what I wear. Yeah, so we remember 96 of that, but yes, 1996. long
so
time ago.
27
That's
years
30
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
27, yes,
Yeah.
almost 30 years ago.
I know it sounds like just yesterday.
Right.
But this guy says he sees this craft, it, crashes. They start blocking off all the roads. I know you guys are going to think I'm nuts, but they say there's an ET, there's
Yeah.
an extraterrestrial,
Yeah.
gets out of the vehicle.
Believe it.
He's walking around, they say he's walking around the neighborhood, and two little girls see him.
Yeah.
They're like 12 and 13 or whatever. They see this alien. These girls are now 40.
Mm-hmm.
And they interview these girls now that are now 40, and they say they've seen this alien.
Yeah.
The guy who's seen the craft crash, and that's what Don's telling you, he's so believable.
He
Actually physically cries when he gets to the scene. He physically cries.
And I don't think he was crying because he was crying because it happened there. Like we were discussing earlier, I think he was crying because he was like, people believe me.
Yes.
They're out taking me seriously. And finally, after all this time, can you imagine to see something with your own eyes? No one believes you. The world, he knows better than all of us now. And he's looking and saying, wow, they believe me. That's really impactful.
And they say a cop died. One cop touched
Yeah,
the alien and
and
he
died.
died. He got
Yeah.
an infection and he died.
Yeah.
They're saying this is like, how about the one guy? They went to this one guy's house that was I think he was with the cop that died.
Yeah.
The guy wouldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Scared.
He
Yeah.
basically threatened them and told them to get out of there or he'd shoot them.
Yeah.
He did not want to talk to them about this at all.
Yeah.
Which was very weird, but that was one of the documentaries that
Absolutely.
made me totally believe.
Would you say
Totally believe.
Would you say that we're just really learning more and more about this because the internet again, they can't hide it anymore. The government has been trying to hide this dating back. When was the first sighting? They say the first sighting
I
was
don't
when?
know.
In the 30s?
Well, that Grush, that
Yeah.
this is the whistleblower guy. He was just on Joe Rogan this week.
Yeah.
So he says the first recovered craft
Yeah.
was in 1933 in Italy.
Okay.
That's what they're saying, that it crashed and our government went
He's
over and
saying
got it.
Italy.
Italy.
They had no idea that you said Italy.
Why?
Because you said you don't say Italy. Say Italy.
Italy.
No, now you just said it right. He was Italy. Italy. It's Italy.
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 But yeah, that first craft, and our government went over there and got it. That's
Yeah.
what he's saying. Now, this David Grush, he's telling you, hey, if you believe me or not, this is going on.
There's that, plus so many other sightings, plus things you've seen with your own eyes, plus things that people have been taping for years and years and years and years. It's all just coming out now because they can't hide it anymore, just like your news.
Yeah.
Cannot hide it anymore. That's why I can't wait. If the aliens are out there, they're listening, and they have any part in this, I want them to come to you because you're going to put
No, I don't want that.
I do. Just make sure it's not when we're here at this building, when we're elsewhere. But Dan, yeah,
Listen, Olivia said to me, we were
I
talking the
think
other
they'd
day.
be cool with you. I don't think they would. I think they would be so cool with you. They'd be like, "That's that kind of guy. That's the human we want."
Take us
not
to our
the rest
leader.
of
It's
us."
me.
Yeah, take us to our leader.
I'm yelling, screaming, making fun out of people.
Like, where is our leader?
Listen, my girlfriend said to me, we were talking the other day, she said, if a UFO landed and wanted to take you, would you go? And I said, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I would definitely go. I mean,
I would go.
I personally believe that this is really going on. I know you know
Yeah.
I do. I'm not kidding. I'm not doing this for views. I believe something's going on.
Yeah.
Do I know what's going on? No. My gut tells me that nothing we were told is real. That's what my gut tells me.
I am starting to believe. You have opened my eyes so much in this last year. I am starting to believe there's so much more than I ever even thought. So much more than I ever even thought.
All right, you want to hear it? You're going to really think I'm crazy. You ready for it? If my girlfriend told me, please don't say this on air today, but I'm
Oh
going to
man,
say
don't
it.
get in trouble then.
No.
I tried to stop him.
It's just going to be stupidity. It's going to be me being
Okay.
stupid.
Okay.
I was looking at a bird flying the other day. Now listen, I'm watching this bird fly, and I'm thinking to
Our
myself,
producer just walked out.
how
She
do
just
birds
left.
fly? Now listen, hear me out. Right? They're fluffing their wings, gets them up in the air. But how the hell do they go?
They're gliding with the wings.
How? But how do you listen? How do they just fly up in the air and then go? They don't have a rocket like our planes do on the back of it. They don't have an engine.
Oh, they
Like-
don't even have like feet to kick as if they were swimming.
Yes! How did they go? I watched this bird, and I'm thinking to myself, how is this bird going from one place to the other place in the air? Like, he's in the air, and he's going forward. How?
To get up too.
Yes, thank you, Dawn.
Yeah.
Olivia looked at me and
I've
said, please don't
never-
say that. People think you're stupid. But I'm
I have
thinking,
never. We don't know. I'm gonna have to research this now.
now listen, I get it. You glide.
Yeah.
But when I see
You
these
go up.
birds, they like have an engine on. They're fucking going.
Maybe they're not birds at all.
Listen,
Did you hear this, Maria? How does the bird get up and go? They get flying, right? But how do they get up? Like a plane.
Now listen, a plane, right, I get it. Now a plane, right, Dawn? A plane is flying, right? But they
Yeah.
have a motor on the
Yeah,
back
that's
that's shooting them.
propelling it,
There's
yeah.
a rocket on the back basically pushing it through the air. A bird don't have a rocket? How the hell is that bird flying through the air? Okay, I looked at these birds and I tried to justify it in my head yesterday. And I'm thinking, this bird just takes off and goes for miles. How? How does it go? You know, somebody's gonna think I'm nuts.
No, but it's such a good question.
Yes!
I never thought I just would watch a bird fly, and I would never think that.
And listen, we take things for granted. People say stuff, we just take things for granted and we don't question anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bird just goes up there and flies. How about this one? Your remote control, right?
Yeah.
You press your remote control, your TV goes on, that's just the beam. What effing beam? Where's this beam come from? Right? We sit there, we say to ourselves, it's just a beam. Where? Where's this beam? I don't see it. Like, we take things for granted, like, oh yeah, it's just a beam. What beam? Where does this come from?
Danny, you are right-brained. You know what that means?
No.
You are right-brained. We'll get into it next week. But I think you might be using more of your brain
Than anybody
than
else.
anybody else, or your weed's just different. Either or. Because who thinks of this shit? Like, I don't... Danny, I'm busy. But I see a bird, I'm like, oh, what a beautiful bird. How is it up there?
Listen, how? Now, I made you think that, too.
You did!
Okay, listen, yeah, he flaps his wings, but that gets him up in the air. How the frick does he, fly? Like, there's no motor on him. How
The
frick
first
does he
thing I
go?
think is maybe his feet, that we don't know their feet.
Like, does he push the air? How the hell does he go? He doesn't have a motor? I just, like, I get it. If he dove off a mountain, put his wings, of course he would glide. But these birds go like a
on their way
bullet.
up. Yeah.
How?
Yeah. That makes so much sense.
You know, some psychologists out there thinking this guy's insane. But we take things for granted. Yeah, we're just gonna press this and the beam puts that off. The beam shuts this off. What beam?
No, that is true. What beam?
What beam?
Yeah.
Right? Where the hell's this beam? Like, we have all these things and we don't question anything.
So what do you think about FaceTime? Is that weird to you?
Yes!
You're on one phone, I'm on the other.
How about I send you a message and somehow goes through the air or something and gets to your phone? How? How? Like, we never question this. We just, oh yeah, I just sent that text message and went to Dawn. How? I could send a text message and it's in Hong Kong. How?
Give me another one. What else? What else is weird to you? No, I want to hear. I think the audience is probably like, yeah, he's right. So what else is like that? Remotes on TVs?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely, I'm sure there's some kind of guy that's stupid. I'm sure somebody knows.
Mm-hmm.
But Dawn, we do stuff and we don't question it. we just thought,
We just
yeah, that's just
live
a
and
beam.
think it's normal.
I watched this bird fly with no engine. And it flies across the whole thing. It doesn't have an engine. How the hell is it flying?
That's Mother Nature.
I guess it is. I mean,
Can I tell you something? I want to tell you
does
something.
he run and then just, I don't know. Now listen, the jet, right? It's going and it catches the thing and it's going. But there's still a motor like pushing it through the sky, right? There's a motor. What's pushing this bird? Nothing. How does a bat fly? I don't know.
When you come up with these things, do you just sit there and you really just ask yourself, and you're like, I get to, hey, Liv, how do you think a bird flies? And she's like, Danny, shut up. Like,
Listen, I was sitting there yesterday at Lake Mead. I was overseeing the lake, and I'm watching these crows, and I'm thinking, how the hell do these crows fly?
you know what? This is teaching us a lesson, though. We need to get out in nature the way Danny's in nature. Danny's like a retired nature guy. Like, I need to get out there and get into nature and see these things. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, I saw a bird driving, but I don't ever get to see, like, a crow.
And listen, if you want to do the one that I totally, 100%, we were never on the moon. Never. That is the biggest BS.
I disagree with you.
Don, think
That
about this.
sounds so-
1950, they were able to beam a camera to us here, and we could watch it on TV. No way.
What do you think?
I can't even get cell service out of Lake Mead.
What do you?
How the hell did he do that?
What do you think? They were in some studio audience. Walk, step, make it look squishy, make it
Yes!
look squishy. And then there are those people. There were 3 people: the
Yes.
camera guy, the actor, and then they all died, and we don't know.
Yes.
Bullshit. There was. Now that's a little crazy, Danny. They were on the moon.
If I was a betting man, which I am, I would say the odds are 60% it didn't happen. I would say I would put a definite.
What about
bet.
all other things that like people really saw with their own eyes? Like, is JFK dead?
I think there's something up with. Oh yeah, they're dead. People
Yeah.
lie. I am not into that. Elvis ain't alive. I'm not into that.
You're not.
No.
You're such a believer.
I
thought you
believe,
would've thought
you're
Tupac
dead,
was
you're
still
dead.
around.
But I think there's stuff we don't understand. You know, the beam. Somebody tell me, how does the beam work? The beam, right? How does it work? How do we get our pictures? How do we have videos? I don't know. I just yeah, that video. Yeah, I'm gonna send Dawn a text message. How? Where do we get this technology? Where do we get this? How did we find out how to do this?
I want to say one more thing, guys. We have 1 minute. Something cool happened. Speaking of believing and kind of researching and whatever, I pray. I'm religious. Everybody knows. And I'm Christian. And in my prayers, I pray for everyone. And I happen to pray for the ones I love, and I pray for the ones that I don't love. And I always pray for you guys, of course, my team, my family, and I pray for everyone. And I also pray
You
for
really need to pray for me.
No, I do. A lot. I pray for you and all the time. I really do. And your daughter, I pray for everyone's family and happiness, health, and safety, all that whole thing, right? But I pray for a cat, too, because I don't have a cat. My cat, Melissa, died 2 years ago in March, right? And I pray for a cat. I don't want to have a cat in my house, to be honest with you. I don't know why I always pray, and a cat. I don't want a cat because I travel a lot. I don't want a cat because I'm not cool with a cat litter box. I don't like hair. I don't like hair on my clothes. I wear a lot of black. I don't really want a cat, but I always ask God for a cat because I feel like if he puts a cat in my life that I have to have, then he kind of forces me to get a cat. No kids, nothing. So I kind of want this cat. So in my head, I picture this great little kitten, and I always said, okay, God, and if you can, put a cat in my life, like show it up at my door. I'm not going to find it. I'm not going to go buy it. But if it shows up at my door, like I'm taking the cat in, only under these circumstances that God sends me a cat, and I ask for it, right? But I'm not out looking for a cat. I'm going to show you on my phone when we break. Yesterday, I had 3 cats on my counter. I come home from the gym, and I'm like, oh, there's this cute little black one. It's not my gray cat that God's supposed to be sending me. But I opened the door, and then this other one, and then this one that looked like my old cat, Melissa, and she's standing like her.
That's my ex-wife's name.
Was it really? Missy. We call the cat Missy. So then Missy, and then they're jumping on the counter. Long story, but my other cat didn't jump. Really, I had a cat that never jumped. That's really weird. Melissa, the dead one. But so then I have 3 cats on my counter, and I have cat food in my house because I eventually was going to have this cat. I bought it for the strays. So I have 3 stray cats on my counter eating. And then I said, God is so good. I've been praying for a cat for like a year. Now I have 3. I took a picture, got them out of the house, fed them outside, vacuumed, and then really realized I don't want the cat because my face was itchy all day. But how weird is that? I believe. I asked God for cats. There were 3 of them on my counter. So anyway, my message is, God is good. Be nice to people. we are sorry for the things that we've said if we have offended you. Well, I am sorry for the things I said. I have
I'm
offended
sorry,
you.
too.
Denny, are you really sorry? You're not really sorry. You're saying sorry because I'm saying sorry.
But I'll end it on this. Please tell us how birds fly. That's
Yeah,
all I want
please
to
tell us
DM
how
me
birds
how
fly.
they go straight. I understand how they flap their wings and go up.
How do
they do
there?
this?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah.
It's their
I
legs.
hope the answer is not like, that's what I thought. The legs are like
like they're
flappers.
pushing the air.
Like
I
in
don't
a
know.
pool, like doggy paddling their legs.
I'm glad you understand because when I said this to my girlfriend today, she's like, "You're so stupid. Please don't say that on air."
No, but it made sense. No, at first when you said it, I'm like, that's so stupid, Danny. Because I pictured it like that, but getting up that way like a plane, like how did it get up? And the first thing I did is picture, does its legs, because it has those paws?
Yeah.
Did it, like, my producer's going like this.
But you understand what I'm saying to you? Like if that bird wanted to fly a mile, it can.
Yeah.
And it goes to its certain location.
I'm Googling this shit the second we're wrapping, but you know what? I hope it's not the answer something so stupid where we're like, oh my God, it's like that.
I know.
Like we should have, like I hope it's not a stupid, like we should know this answer.
I'll come up with something better next week.
Guys, Dawn Sullivan _ that's on Instagram.
At the Crime Solver, you'll be entertained. TikTok.
Always be entertained.
Yeah.
Have
And
a
I'm
good
going up a
week.
ton of followers too. So.
I lost 1,000 on my Trump comment. Trump 2024.